Hello everyone, I'm Azure Silver and welcome back to Showing Off My Art. I recorded the last episode yesterday, so it's a different day now. I gotta admit, the energy wasn't there. I was, subconsciously a little worried that I would be bugging my grandmother who's trying to sleep, so I was very, cognizant of that, and it costed the video some of its energy and stuff. So I'm here today to hopefully rectify that with this one. And so we're just gonna pick up right where we left off, and it's going to be great. The fact of the matter is, actually, believe it or not, I was looking at the picture I took of everyone in this generation, which is again Gen 8. The shocking thing is we got through almost half, if not half of them yesterday. So it's going to be very fun to see where we get through here, but we're still very much in the Brawl Stars category, because we are starting off with Trash Poco, I believe his name is. Anyway, this one's a completely me skin, but traced off of the Poco that I've drawn in previous. I actually really like this one in terms of color and design, and talking about the paper form anyway. In terms of how I like in general, I feel like I made his forehead too big, but at the same time, kind of works. You know, it's a weird middle, but yeah, that's Trash Poco. I can't. No, I guess I can't. Well, I was gonna try and brighten it up because I'm used to what we had yesterday, and I can't do that now. So. Yeah, that's Trash Poco. This is the tallest one, I believe, just because of the mohawk. But generally not that different. But I really enjoy doing this one, so there's that. And then we have this one. And this one, if I recall correctly, this Poco right here, this is like version 2 Poco. There is OG Poco, like the version 1 Poco, and then there's this Poco, and this Poco was the first remodel. So it isn't the Poco we have in the game right now. This one's obviously a lot more bland, but I wanted to do it. You know, it was different, not too like widely different, but it was different, and I felt like it, so I did him. Frankly, especially because we have the very colorful one before it, this one doesn't look all that impressive, but I still really like it. It's the same height and everything as the other Pocos and whatnot, so it's not that different. But yeah, no, this one just goes back to basics, and I appreciate it for that. I do. And then from there we have, of course we do, True Silver and True Gold Poco, which mean, again, nothing if you watch the last one. So, we can just gonna put those two to the side because those two are unideal. And also, yes, I am wearing my L necklace that I got for Christmas. Christmas has not been, it was an early Christmas gift. But it's an L necklace from Death Note, so that's pretty cool. Next up, we have more Brawl Stars because majority of this generation is Brawl Stars, until the very end, in which case we go back to kind of doing non-Brawl Stars characters, and then the next generation starts off with Brawl Stars. Majority of the middle is not Brawl Stars, and at the very end I think becomes Brawl Stars again, and then the 10th generation so far is entirely Brawl Stars. So yeah, Brawl Stars is consuming a lot of the drawings, but nevertheless, we start off with this guy, and this guy is Surfer Carl. Now, me and Parker debated for a long time how I was gonna do this one, because frankly, the model that Drawanything Animations had for Carl is a good model, but it doesn't work for this skin, and frankly, I don't know if I did it right. I don't know what I could have done differently, but I don't know if I did it right. Is the thing. It feels off to me, I think. And given the chance, I probably would have gone back. Actually, why don't I hold it over here? It's a bit more lighted. But given the chance, I probably would have gone back and done it again. I don't know what I would do. But I think for what I did, it's okay. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it just because I feel like I could have done better on it, but I don't know what that is. Aside from that, the colors are pretty much all the same and whatnot. It's just how it is. So there's that, and then from there, to tie up Carl, we have True Gold and True Silver, which again mean absolutely nothing and contribute nothing to Carl whatsoever. So let's go right there. And then we get this one, and this one is actually one of my favorite Brawl Stars that I did in this generation, and not because I like the skin or whatnot, but this is Evil Queen Pam, and the reason why I like it is just because I put so much time and effort into just this one aspect of it. But if you look, you can see the scales changing in terms of, and you can see like the dragon in general, the scales are like changing in terms of perspective, and I just like that so much. It's something like perspective is not something I get to do often in this format. So it was just really nice to be able to do this and be able to see what it was and what's happening and whatnot. So yeah, this is Evil Queen Pam, obviously traced off of regular Pam. Got a hole right there, obviously. It fits all in one page. Probably the tallest Pam, I think. Definitely the most detailed and the most recent. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really like Evil Queen Pam. I don't have the skin. Personally, I don't believe it should be 300 gems, but I don't mind it. I don't mind this for what it is, and I think it's pretty cool. I really do enjoy it. Specifically for this portion of it right here, I really enjoy that. And then after that comes with True Gold and True Silver Pam, which, once again, if you've been watching and you know, mean nothing. Because they contribute nothing, and they do nothing different. So those guys go over there. And then, to tie things off, we've got True Gold and True Silver Max, which do nothing. So, they also go over here. But following that, we get the wonderful Hermes Max, which is taken, you know, it's done by me, but traced off of Max. Admittedly, the head looks a little weird. I understand if people have complaints about that, because, you know, it's usually with the helmet and whatnot, so even drawing it, going into it, I had no real plans, but I really like how this one turned out, because from a far enough perspective, it doesn't look that interesting. But this one is 2 different shades of yellow. I love the shades of brown. I love the old classy style of it. It's actually one of my favorite Max skins in general, if not my favorite Max skin. And it's just, I don't know, it's cool. I really enjoy it. I really like how I did it. I think I approached it well. I think I handled it well, even if it's not exactly favored by the community or by my friends or anyone like that. Not to say that it wasn't favored by my friends. I'm just saying, even if it wasn't, for whatever reason, I still appreciate it. But yeah, it's got like 2 different shades of yellow. I tried to balance it really well, and I think I did. I really like this Max. I really do enjoy this Max. I hope she gets a new skin soon, because it's great. I love it. So there's Hermes. And then we get True Gold and True Silver Sandy, which mean nothing. And if you're wondering why I did these in a certain order, like I did, you know, I did Poco, and then I did Carl, and then I did Pam, and then I did Max, and now I'm doing Sandy. If you're wondering why I did it like that, it's because at this stage of the generation, I'm going back to previous generations and tying up loose ends. So I drew brawlers in a particular order in a previous generation, whatever generation that it was. I don't know for sure. Probably Generation 7, but it could even go back to Generation 6. So I'm going back and tying up those loose ends, hence why it's kind of random instead of being in the usual pattern. But yeah, anyway, we're almost done with the Brawl Stars. But first off, we've got... bless me. We have got True Gold and True Silver Ruffs. And these guys mean nothing. They mean even less because I'm going to be redoing Ruffs with a more properly shaped and proportioned body. So his head will be smaller, and so it doesn't look like really weird. Which is not a rib, I should mention, because the models are from the other guy. I didn't mention it in the last video, though I did link his channel in the description anyway. The other guy, who I never remember the name of, he draws them, and I'm not dissing his style anytime I say that, because I've used his style to make Edgar, Byron, Ruffs, Ash, actually, but the problem is he makes the heads big compared to the body, so I end up having to go back. Well, I've started going back, and I did it for Ash, where I go back and I adjust the head and the body and kind of contort the thing to make it look proportionate. And I've done that already. I have a mold of Byron, a mold of Edgar, and a mold of Ruffs where they are proportioned. So it's just a matter of when Parker, who's the person now who makes the decisions for me, it's when Parker goes back and decides, hey, you should do Byron, or you should do Edgar, or you should do Ruffs, because then I'll go back and do the skins, because, yeah. If you don't remember, the last skin for Colonel Ruffs that I did was Sheriff Ruffs, and that's, he's gotten a couple skins since then, like he's gotten the dog one, because of that community thing that Brawl Stars did. Actually, I don't think he's gotten another one since then, but yeah. Basically, I'll be going back and doing them, but under the new thing. So those models matter even less than they did before. And next up, this one's probably out of nowhere for a lot of people unless you understand the context of it, which is why I'll explain to it. But here is Wade. It's Wade. It's Lord Minion 777. And if you're wondering why that is, it's because we're in the 8th generation. And if you've been following how this works, is that every generation is something to the number. Like, generation 1 is 0 to 100. So the thing at the end of the 3-digit number determines what generation it is. So 0 to 100 is the first generation, 100, 200 is second, and so on and so forth. So the 8th generation logically has to be 700 to 800. And somewhere just past the middle, actually just barely past the 3/4 line of the 8th generation is the number 777, 777, and his YouTube channel is Lord Minion 777. So I figured, just like with the devil, when I hit 666, I would stop what I was doing, take this updated person model, and make Lord Minion 777. Obviously, it's not up to date. It's and I drew this when he was already vaulted and whatnot. But I figured I'd go back to classic him, well, classic per se, like, kind of like when I started watching him. That's what I consider classic, because that's the Wade that I think of first when I think of Wade. I don't think of bald Wade. I think of, how he looked for a majority of his career, where his hair was kind of short and he had the beard and whatnot, but it was whatever. Also, his YouTube profile picture, he still has hair in it, so I figured I'd just go with that. It seemed easiest. So it's just a basic adaptation of Wade. He's wearing those khakis or whatever the pants are that he always wears. He's got a little watch on for whatever reason, just to give him something. He's got his YouTube logo on his shirt, his beard and whatnot. It's there. And this is an important marker, because not only does this represent Wade, but this also represents the new human model that I'll be going back and doing everyone else of. I think we can all agree that this one just looks so much better and so much more realistic and so much more human and so much better in every way compared to the model that I made myself, and it's not too far off. The hand is still out here kind of pointlessly, but it just works, essentially, is what I'm saying. It just fits it better. So eventually, when I go back and I'm doing all these skins in the 10th generation, when I hit this one, I'll be going back and doing all my friends that I go and ask if they want to be drawn. So, yeah, this is the new model for people, but this is also the marker of 777, and it is Lord Minion, so it's dedicated to him. He's the first person to be drawn in this actual decent human model that stands up to this day, and is one of my favorites. I really like it. I love it so much. It's great. I obviously didn't create the human model. That I found on the internet. I don't know where, and I probably could track it down, but I'm not going to, just because I got too much on the go. So I apologize for that, but just know it's not my original content, so this model, thanks to whoever made that. But yeah, it's Wade. I made it into Wade, so that's cool. If I can even call him Wade. I'll link his channel in the description below, so go check him out. He's pretty cool. I haven't watched him too much recently, but I plan to watch more of him, and I used to watch a lot of him. He's also Indistractable, which I listen to a lot, especially while drawing, so yeah, those are some plugs for Lord Minion 777. He's great. And then, if you've been following the pattern, like I said, I usually have a pattern for drawing Brawl Stars, because we're going back to Brawl Stars. Parker chooses the brawler. And even when Parker started choosing the brawler instead of Austin, I kept it going in that that pattern in terms of rarity. So the last brawler we did was a mythic, and that was Tara. So obviously next was a legendary, and Parker's first legendary choice was none other than his favorite brawler, Leon. So first off, we've got default Leon, and this is taken from Drawanything animations again, so props to them. They did really good with this. I really enjoyed it. I really like this Leon, and so yeah, this is from Drawanything animations. Don't think I made this Leon model all by myself. I didn't. This is Drawanything animations work right here. I'm just putting it in paper form and putting it on paper and putting it out. But yeah, no, so this is this. It's pretty cool. It's roughly the same height as like Colt and all them, so it's the moderate Brawl Stars height. And it's just, I don't know, I really like it. I think it's cool. It's definitely better than anything I would have done. And so yeah, he's chilling. I know a couple of the models actually have, like, I'm pretty sure I did the Leon skins that Drawanything animations drew themselves first and then went back and did the ones that he didn't do. So here's Shark Leon, and so this one is again from Drawanything animations, not my own, but I love this one more than some of the others just because the shade of blue. I don't think I have this one in game yet. I could be wrong about that, but I just love the different shades of blue on this. I think this one used 3 different shades of blue, and so that's pretty cool. And yeah, but generally it's the same. It's actually a little bit taller. Is it a little bit taller? Yeah, it's just a tad taller than the default Leon skin, but it's there and it's cool, and I really like it. I think it's good. He did Drawanything animations. If it's a he or she, I'm probably gonna end up saying he a lot just because it's easier for me and it's instinctual. But they did a really good job with these. So props to them again for this. It's pretty good. And then we get Sally Leon, which was also done by Drawanything animations. This one's a lot more basic. He actually has the lollipop this time. I don't know. I still find it cool. This one's by no means my favorite Leon skin in general. But it's just, I don't know, it's well done, it's simplistic, it's easy, it's there, it's in the same height as probably default Leon if I had to take a guess, and yeah. Actually, a fun little story. I could probably show you, actually. Oh, it's plugged in. Yeah. Oh god. My light board, which I use when I'm tracing things, actually on the back here, you can kind of see the outline of it. That's Sally Leon. I drew Sally Leon on this because at the time, I was really big into watching things on the TV in the living room. So if I was drawing on the glass table, which, again, you shouldn't really do to begin with, but if I was drawing on the glass table, it would make a noise that just got annoying to me. So I would put the brawler on this, and then I would draw them with this as like a hard cover to use. So I was actually drawing Sally Leon while watching Spider-Man 2 for the first time in years. And it was really cool because while I was drawing Sally Leon, I was sitting there with my jaw to the floor rewatching Spider-Man 2 because I intentionally didn't look up anything about it. I forgot everything about it, so it was like I was watching the movie for the first time, even though it wasn't. And it was so fun. It was so cool. And for reference, I'm talking about the Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire and Alfred Molina. So I don't know. It was great. Anyway, that's the story behind Sally Leon. Next, to take a break from that, we have True Gold and True Silver Leon. So luckily, I don't have to do those this next pass around. But they mean nothing, like every other True Gold and True Silver skin, so we can just toss those over here. And then we get to another custom-made skin I did, because as you know, actually I don't think I've shown, this would have been the first one. Okay, this would have been the first one, but essentially, given I'm drawing Brawl Stars characters, and a very important thing about a lot of my friendships with people is Brawl Stars, I decided that I would draw my friends as their favorite brawler, and that would become a tradition. And you'll see it continue in further generations. But since Parker's favorite brawler is Leon, and he chose Leon, I figured, hey, why not? So officially, here is the Parker Leon skin. Traced off of, default Leon. He's got, it's kind of reminiscent of the paper Parker I did a while ago. It's not like he wears these clothes anymore, it's kind of reminiscent, kind of basic. I wanted to keep it a secret from him because it was the first one. It was supposed to be a surprise, so I didn't ask him, and I didn't really look because we usually wear SJC clothes. So I went back to basics. He's got his hat that he usually wears, the gray hat that he has. Not that you would know what it is, but he's got a gray hat. And that's covering his eyes. It's kind of putting a shadow over it. He's got a hood with the Brawl Stars logo on the top of it. A P on his sweater, because he does wear a sweater, so it works for that too. But it's a red Adidas sweater, or whatever the thing with the 3 rectangles is. And he's got a P to show that it's Parker. Not that you would need to show that it's Parker, but he's got a P on it. In the arm sleeves, he's got blue shorts on, and then just black shoes and socks. And I don't know, it's very cool. It's definitely simplistic. It's definitely kind of basic, but it was just, I don't know, it was the first one out of all the friends to do. Just to give a little update, as of right now, drawing everyone in Gen 10. I have not, in terms of people with Brawl Stars skins to do, I have like a couple friends. There's Parker, there's Isaac, there's Austin, there's me, there's Eyeless Arts, and then there's Byron. And Byron's kind of a technicality because Byron is just Byron, even though Byron has never played Brawl Stars, but because there's a character in Brawl Stars named Byron, he's going to eventually be Byron when I redo Byron. But Eyeless Arts came to Brawl Stars a bit late, so I had already drawn his favorite character, or maybe I haven't drawn his favorite character. I keep forgetting what his favorite character is, whether it's Bull or Colette or Penny. It's one of the 3. So I gotta draw that one at some point, and then Isaac is either Edgar or Piper, and then Austin. I've drawn Austin, and I've drawn Parker. I haven't drawn Minnie yet because I haven't got to do Jesse. Anyway, yeah, so this was the first one of the bunch. It's pretty cool, and yes. Oh, I gotta draw my little cousin too eventually. Anyway, yeah, no, that's Parker Leon, which it holds a special place in my heart, even if the skin itself would be probably 49 gems at most. And then finally, we get this skin, which actually, if I remember correctly, because I forgot to do this with Rosa, I forgot to do this when I showcased Rosa. I'll put a picture right here. I did a lot of testing because I wanted to do this one right. I know this holds a place in a lot of people's heart, and this is again from Drawanything Animations. Werewolf Leon, done masterfully by Drawanything Animations and translated to me. It uses several shades of blue. I want to say at least 4. Same tone for the skin as the other Leons. Got a little bone, the chains, the everything is just done and crafted, understanding the importance of it all, and it's just, I think it's handled perfectly on both ends, both by me and by Drawanything Animations, and just in general. Parker and them also seemed to really like it, so that was cool. And yeah, this one just took a lot of effort and a lot of time, but the end result was so beautifully made and so awesome. And I love the hat. The hat's my favorite part. And I don't know. I have the skin in game. It's the current skin that I use. And although Parker Leon is my favorite skin just because it holds an importance to me, Werewolf Leon is probably the best done out of all the Leon skins that I've done and ever will do. And then, finally, to end it all off, after doing one of the best skins, the first Drawanything Animation skin that I didn't do that they didn't do that existed in the game is Dino Leon, and Dino Leon just isn't done as well. It probably suffers a little bit coming after Werewolf Leon because it was never gonna follow up. But there's Dino Leon, and it's done okay. It's not my favorite. It's not even my favorite in game either. So I don't know. But it's there. It does what it needs to do, and for that reason, it exists. I think it's one of the taller ones, if I'm not mistaken. It might, yeah, this one's the tallest of all the Leon skins, just because of the spike at the top. But other than that, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of just there. I don't like it in general, not just because it's what it is in terms of a drawing, but I just don't like the skin in general, so this one had a rough start anyway. I don't know, it's not done bad by any means, it's just not my favorite. Anyway, next we've got Brock. And Brock does not have a good run. I mean, first off, we got True Gold and True Silver, which mean nothing as always, so they get just tossed back there. And then we get these skins, and these skins were just done horribly by me. You can tell they're kind of rushed. You can tell I don't put a lot of thought into it. It's kind of just, okay, do them, move on. But we got Old School Brock, and Old School Brock is traced off of one of my other Brock skins that I'm having a trouble remembering for some reason. But there's Brock. It's not done very well. The colors are a lot more bland, just because I wanted to emphasize the fact that this is version 1 Brock. But yeah, I don't know. The legs are weirdly disproportioned. He's leaning to one side too much. His hat looks weird. His face, like one eye's under the like down more than the other. It's all so wrong. And I don't know, I don't look back at this adaptation of the skin very proudly, just because I could have done it so much better. But it exists, it's a thing. And then, to make matters worse, we've got version 1 Beach Brock. And version 1 Beach Brock ain't too much better. Well, it really ain't that much better. I fixed the eye issue, the legs are a little bit more proportioned. But even so, this one was also just, I didn't have a lot of passion going into it, really, is the problem. But it exists, I did it, this is a version 1 Beach Brock, and so it's traced off of that Brock, and so it exists. And yeah, it's kind of just there now. But nevertheless, after doing the legendary brawler, which was Leon, I then move on to doing a chromatic brawler. And the chromatic brawler that Parker chose was none other than Colette. Now, Colette here is taken from Drawanything animations once again. So props to them for this model of Colette. And it's about the same height as Colette, well, not so it's about the same height as the average brawler. I really like it. She's like hugging her book the whole time, so that's pretty cool. I like the perspective with the arms. And generally, this one it has a lot of color to it, so I really enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. It's cool and whatnot. And yeah, eventually in the future, as I mentioned, you might see this one fused together with Eyeless Arts, and if not, then it'll just be there. So yeah, it fits on one page just fine, And yeah, it exists. It's there. I don't know, it's cool. I don't have too much more to say on it, just because, I don't know, but yeah. And then, we get this one, and this one I'm 90% certain is done. Actually, this one has a picture too, so whatcha? Put up there. Trixie Colette took a lot of effort, is done in several shades of purple and pink. And I'm pretty sure this one also is from, I'm pretty sure this is done by, Drawanything animations, but I could be wrong, and it could have been me. It's one of those situations where I really don't know. This one actually has a hole where the other Colette did not. Actually, it had a small hole, but I don't know, I didn't call it out. Same hole, that's right here, is on the other Colette. Anyway, this one's obviously taller because of the horns, and generally just a lot more effort was put in, and it's cool, and I appreciate it a lot. And I love the jacket more than the rest of it, just because of all the different shades of what's going on. Just makes it so interesting and so fascinating and so cool. And I don't know, I really like it. And then we get to this skin, which is definitely one that I drew myself, and that is Navigator Colette. I'm pretty sure. I'm 90% certain that I did Navigator Colette for myself. But if I didn't, then I apologize, but I'm pretty sure this one by me. Anyway, so it's got a hole right there again, but generally it's no bigger and no different than regular Colette, aside from the fact that she's now blue and spacey and navigator-ish, which is cool and all, but I don't know. It's there. It has 3 different shades of blue. going into it, so that's a little something to note. And aside from that, yeah, it's there, and it does its purpose, but coming after Trixie Colette is just kind of just iffy. And then we get this skin, which is Gladiator Colette, and this one's actually might be taller than... Okay, it's the same height as Trixie Colette. And this one just looks a little weird translated because it's done a little differently. Like, I had to improvise a lot with this one because all the other ones, she's hugging something. This one, she's not hugging anything. She never is because there's spikes on the end of it. So it's kind of, she has one arm holding it and then the other arm down. So I had to make that work somehow. So it was an improvisation by me, but I managed to make it work. And yeah, I don't know, I think for what it does, it's cool. The colors are very nice, and I think I handled it well in terms of a transition. It's not my favorite. I think the helmet is what throws me off just a little bit, and I'm not sure how I can improve it, so it's kind of just there, really. But it's still nice, and I still enjoy it, and I still think it's pretty cool, so there's that one. And then we get to this one. And this one isn't technically a skin, but it is. But I wanted to pay my respects because this was the skin that a lot of people voted for and a lot of people say should have won over Gladiator Colette and yet isn't in the game. So I wanted to pay my respects to, I'm forgetting what it's called now. Is it, Time Traveler Colette? Something to do with time. Time shifter or something like that. I forget what it's actually called, but I've heard about the controversy behind this. And Parker was upset about it. A lot of the Brawl Stars community was upset about this. So I figured I'd pay my respects by drawing the time holder Colette. This one, it looks a little bit weird because it doesn't really fit in with what it was doing, but I think this one had its arms stretched out a lot, which was even more difficult to do than Gladiator Colette, so I struggled. So I just kind of try to take it back to basics. So I try to show the watch that's like engulfed in her chest, and whatever she's hugging, I don't actually know for sure. I think she's just hugging herself. So yeah, I think it's done a little weird, but it's still just something I felt I had to do. And then she's got her little floating time shaker thing strapped to her back. So it's not the best executed, and I think I definitely could have handled it better. I think if I did it now, I probably would have handled it a little bit better. But, you know, it's still there. It does what it needs to do. It gets the message out that, you know, props to the person who made this skin. It was a really cool skin. I voted for it. It was great. It definitely deserves some attention on it, even now. So there's that. It is pretty cool. And then, after doing such a meaningful tribute, we get to the meaningless stuff because we have True Gold and True Silver Colette, which mean Dick Diddle. And now, we step away from Brawl Stars. Because now we move on to one of the biggest, not the biggest drawing in this generation, but one of the biggest, because we do... Oh, I didn't see that. Sorry about that. We have the Shroob Queen. And this one's big. Like, I'm struggling to keep it all in frame. It's a couple different shades of purple, kind of like Trixie Colette. It's got a cut right there, and a cut right along there, and a cut right there, and right there, and right there, and then, I think that's it, actually. Oh, no. It's got little cuts right there, right there, and right there, and then, yeah, the rest of it's good. So I love this one. I think I could have handled, like, the hood a bit better if I was better at it at the time. But I still love this one. I wanted to make this one feel really important and really big and really special, and it did, and it does, and it turned out great aside from the hood. But that doesn't matter because the rest of it makes you forget about the hood part. But yeah, no, I did the Shroob Queen a while back, and I've kind of touched different aspects of the Shroob. I just haven't gone into depth about Shroobs yet. Like, I've done the Yube, and I've done the Shroob Queen, and I've done a Shroob. God damn it. But I don't know. I watched, actually, it was Prosifia Gaming play through This is Partners in Time, right? I'm pretty sure this is Partners in Time. I watched Pacific Gaming play through the entirety of Partners in Time, Mario and Luigi Partners in Time without commentary. And I just noticed that this queen was there. I thought it was just an alternate form to the other queen, and I wasn't originally going to do it, or I was, but at a later time. But no, it's its complete own character, and I felt like the time was right, and so I did it. So just randomly, here is the Shroob Queen. This one took a lot of time and a lot of effort, but it was really important and really, really special, and I think it turned out great. So, yeah, there that one exists. And then obviously the spoils are ruined because this one was stuck to the Shroob Queen, but we got the spiny that I left out from when I did all the other spinies. Not that it's important and not that it's, but something simple after doing something so complex was just nice. A nice little break. So that wraps up the spinies, and yeah, it's nothing different. It's traced off of one of the other spinies, like the light blue spiny or whatever it's called, from the previous generation. But that's all. It's nothing. It's nothing important. And then we get to this one, which had been in the works for a while because I knew it existed, but I had to verify that it wasn't like fan-made, and it wasn't. So I finally decided to go ahead and do it. Now that I was just doing random things, and so here is the fire Sledge Bro. Obviously traced off the Sledge Bro, except without the hammer now, so it's just fire. Just red. This one looks kind of shrimpish compared to the Shroob Queen, but it still holds its weight. It's got a cut going down right there and a cut going that way. Otherwise, it's nothing you haven't seen before. It's not that different from the other ones. And yeah, it's kind of there, and I don't mind it. I do enjoy it, but it's I don't know. It's just there, and it does its purpose. It does, but it means nothing anymore. And then we get to this guy who is traced off of the Mecha Koopas, but I didn't realize how big it was actually compared to the Mecha Koopas. So it's kind of undersized, and I apologize for that, but it's Mecha Bowser. My favorite part about it is obviously the eyes, but this is from Super Mario Galaxy, so I apologize to any fans out there who think I'm doing injustice. But yeah, it's Mecha Bowser. It's pretty cool. It's a small little thing. Nothing too important, not a lot of effort was put into it, but again, something simple after doing something so complex. And yeah, it's kind of there, and it does its job again. And then we get to this one, and this one confused the hell out of me because I didn't even know it existed until I had seen pictures of it. And it's a Wiggler I've never done before. But this is the Mecha Wiggler, or at least a weird adaptation of it, because it looks so realistic, and it was hard for me to find decent photos of it, because it was in darkness usually. I didn't put a lot of effort into it just because I didn't know what I was getting into, and I couldn't get detailed pictures of it, and also just because the Mecha Wiggler itself didn't really mesh with the style, but it's something I had to do. So from Mario Odyssey comes the Mecha Wiggler, which is obviously cut right there, it's cut right there, and it's cut... Oh, the last two are actually done together. Yeah, so it's got a few holes. Right there is one, right there is one, right there is one, and right there is one. The actual fascinating thing about the process of how I made this was what I did is I made the head, and then I copied that to make the body, except I adjusted the head so it didn't look like the head anymore, and it was just the body. And then I copied that body to make this body and this body. So these two bodies are a trace of this body, which is a trace of the head. And so this one's definitely the widest character I've done. Actually, is it? Is it even? Oh yeah. Yeah, wait, is it? Oh, it's just barely, no, it's not. Okay, it's about tied with the Shroob Queen for widest character yet. Oh, and actually, there's another cut right there. Huh. That's interesting. I think I've shortened down the length of these two joints, and that's why there's different cuts on it. Because there's a cut right there, and there's a cut right there, and then there's a cut right there. And that's it. But yeah, this one's just a lot of gray and a lot of brown. It's very uncolorful compared to the previous ones that we've seen, so it's kind of bland, and it kind of doesn't fit right. but that's no fault of its own. I still think it's decent, it's just not, you know, the best in the world and whatnot, and so it kind of just exists there. But that is the Mecha Wiggler, and that wraps up the Wigglers for the most part. And then we get to this character, a character that I did in a previous generation and did a disservice to when I drew them the first time, so making their return in bigger, grander style and proper formation is Big the Cat. Now, I had drawn Big the Cat before, like I said, but honestly, it turned out quite pathetic and quite horrible, and I even made note of it in the video that this one turned out like shit and I wasn't pleased with the final thing. So after having drawn, I believe it was that one character from one of the Sonic games, as well as Wario in Mega Strike form, I figured it was about time for me to go back and give Big the Cat vengeance. So here he is, traced off of one of those two characters. The head is one of the first things to start off with because I knew I had to get the head right before anything else. And boy, did I get the head right. I think the head's probably my favorite part. So it's got a cut right there and a cut right there. And then a cut right going down along there. And a cut on the other side going down the same way. There's a hole right there. It's got a cut right there and a cut right there. And then a huge cut right there. So this one obviously took a lot of time again, and this is the biggest one. This one beats out the Shrew Queen for the biggest character, but not the widest actually. And yeah, it was just a better proportioned Big the Cat, and I really enjoy it, and I like the shades of purple, and I love it mainly because I screwed the other one so bad that I knew I had to do this one. Don't mind the voice crack, I'm starting to give out. But yeah, this one I knew I needed to do right, and there was so much determination to do it right, and especially the head I think I did really well on. And this one, I don't know, it's finally nice to give the Sonic characters a rest and know that the Big the Cat has been given justice. So there's that, and then finally the final character, we somehow, the first time ever in history of me showing off my arts, we managed to wrap up a generation in 2 videos. Usually it's 3 is the average, but one generation I know for sure we did 4 just because I explained a lot of them more than I should have. This one I think went the quickest because we had a lot of true gold and true silvers that I just kept skipping over. Not to say that I didn't show them off, just to say that, like, I would say, hey, look, they're here, goodbye. So I think in that regard is why it went the quickest. But to wrap it up, the return of Meta Knight comes with Galactonite. I believe is this one. This one's, I'm pretty sure it's Galactonite. But yeah, this one's got a cut right there and a cut right there. And it's got, what is this? A cut right there. And then it's got on this side, cut right there, and a cut right there. And frankly, yeah, obviously traced off of Meta Knight. This one is not my favorite done ever, but it exists. And it actually starts off the next generation, because the next generation starts off with Morpho Knight, so that's something to look forward to. This one's just a couple shades of pink and a couple shades of purple. You can tell by this character how it's done. It's done with some passion. By this point, I was just done. I wanted the generation to be over. In the last little stretch, I had done so many big and detailed characters that this one, I wanted to rest, man. So, yeah, here it is, Galactonite. I honestly, the funny thing was, when I did this one, I thought I was done with Meta Knight, and then the guys told me that, hey, there's actually other forms of Meta Knight, so I was like, oh. Yeah, so I had to go back and do that one. But yeah, no, that wraps that up. I think I mentioned this in the last video, but I genuinely did not think that I was this far behind on generations in terms of showing off my art. Like, it feels like forever since I've done showing off my art, and I don't know, I didn't realize I was so far behind. Like, the last one was done in August, which was 3 months ago, which ain't that important, and ain't that far away. There's something about it, man. I don't know. It felt like forever ago. And then I just remembered recently, like, hey, I'm doing Cuphead. Let's check out some of the other series that I'm doing that, I don't know what's wrong with me. Let's check out some of the other series that I haven't done in a while, and then Showing Off My Art appeared, and I was just like, holy shit, I haven't done that in a while. So I went back and I did it, and I looked, and I was like, oh hey, I ended on Generation 7. Alright, time to go back and do it. Cool. Here we are. Done in 2 videos, a new record, the shortest series of, like, the shortest part of Showing Off My Art in history of Showing Off My Art videos on this channel. After that, we got Generation 9, which has already been completed. I keep talking about Generation 10 because I'm on character number 932, so definitely on my road there. And yeah, I don't know. It's crazy to think about. It really is how close we are getting to hitting a 4-digit number. That is crazy. But yeah, this generation was finished. I don't even remember when. I didn't look up at the date. I think sometime in June. Maybe. Could be wrong. But yeah, no. I like this generation. It's definitely, it's where you can start to see the definite shift between my kind of worse stuff and my better stuff. Like, a lot of the stuff in this generation, even I was talking about it, how it was still holding up today. Because the thing with my art and my style is that because it's the same style every time, just different characters done different ways, you definitely get to see a more smoother transition between me getting slowly better and better every time. And so the fact that some of these drawings still held up today shows that, like, definite upgrade from previous generations, that I'm really starting to come into my own by this time, which you might be arguing is a little late. But there's a lot of stop and starts in every generation, so I kind of do a lot, then burn out for a little bit, and then go back to it. And I don't know, it's just, it's nice, it's cool. I definitely miss doing this series. I enjoy doing it a lot, and so I'll be doing 9 eventually. And yeah, it's fun. It's there, and yeah, no, it was really cool. Started with Handsome Colt, ended with Galactonite. Next one starts with Morpho Knight and ends with something. Anyway, well, yeah, so that'll come soon. Might be in the new year, unless, I don't know, I figure something out, because I have a lot of videos on the go right now, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so that's gonna wrap that up. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I'm Mr. Sober. Like, comment, subscribe for more of this, for more gaming and vlogs, whatever else comes. I'll see you all very, very soon. Later, guys.